as you can see, I'll be building from scratch a microservice, cloud native microservice. And this session is for software professionals at all levels. You may be Java developer just starting off building microservices, or you could be a senior developer or an architect or manager. As you know, microservices are a small independent services, and these can be run on cloud. We'll be covering configuration, we'll be covering REST clients, we will be covering security aspects using JWT token, fault tolerance. This is very important for handling failures in microservices. We'll be learning about documenting the APIs, and we will be learning about how to get health checks and how to monitor metrics, open tracing for observability. So we'll be building microservices using existing Java standards, for example, context and dependency injection, JSON binding and JSON parsing. We'll be using Restful web services, and we will also be using Jakarta persistence for database operations. So have been researching for several years because I see developers face a lot of challenge while building and deploying their microservices, keeping them up and productive all the time. So I am trying to share some practical stuff which will help you get these challenges resolved. So we will be sharing an example which is MicroProfile e-commerce application. So basically this is an e-commerce store which we will be building, and we will see here how various microservices can collaborate, interact with each other to take care of various complex workflows which we have in e-commerce application. So e-commerce application, as you all must be familiar, have various components. For example, product catalog for having a central repository of all the product information like product details, descriptions, price, and it also provides APIs for other services like shopping cart to access the product details. Inventory service is some service which is tracking inventory in real time. It ensures that no product is oversold. And then you have a shopping cart where a user or customer will add items he wants to purchase. And then there is an order processing which takes care of everything after checkout and manages the order confirmation, initiates the payment. And we have the payment service, which is a separate service, which will be calling external payment gateway. And then we have shipment service, which will be managing the delivery logistics. And of course you have user management where you will have management of user profiles, login, token management, etc. So there will be multiple services. We will be building them. I will be demonstrating them, and this will help you understand all the concepts of microservices, not from just the theory aspect but also from practical standpoint. So let's start. So as you see, I have here a Visual Studio Code environment open. So let me make the fonts bigger so that it's very easily visible to all of you. Yes. Let me adjust the layout so that it makes more sense to you, and I will a little bit more show the font size little higher so that it is visible for you very easily. So we'll be going through the code samples. I have them all set up. I have my Visual Studio Code, and I have checked out MicroProfile tutorial repository where I have all the code samples. I'll be sharing after this session the code repository for you to also try out and help and build the application yourself. So as you can see, I have all the chapters which contains tutorial content, and they will provide introduction to various concepts, and I will be sharing in this session the practical aspects, so code samples, how to run them, and you can go in details later all these concepts, but yes, while showing the demonstration I will be sharing you the concepts as well. So feel free to also post your queries, and then I will be able to answer them or take them later. And also if you want to deep dive into any specific concept, that I can take up later. But for now I will be covering the code samples, how to execute it step by step. So let's start. So here very important thing, first we should have JDK installed. So if you guys have OpenJDK installed in your system, which is very important because that's the Java development kit. So let's see what's there in my system. I have Java version command. I'm running the Java version command, and this is having Java 11, right? So this is we will be trying all the microservices using a later version, which is Java 17. So yes, Saha, this is a session about building microservices. So I see your message. Suvarnil is your name. So yeah, this session is about building microservices. So this is for Java developers, whether you are a fresh developer starting building microservices, or you are a senior developer or architect or manager, then I will show you code samples where you will be seeing how to deploy and build a production grade microservices, right? Say clear, or if you are with me, say yes, I am with you. Just message in the comment so that I see that yes, everyone is on same track. So let me start. So I see that there is OpenJDK 11. So how do we switch build between multiple JDKs? This is what I will be covering now. So I'm going through the chapter 2 of MicroProfile tutorial. So here I see there is a code directory, and in the code directory I have placed all the source code, right? And there are readme files as well, where you will find the instructions to perform various steps. So here in MicroProfile I will be using JDK 17, Java version 17. We'll also be using Maven. Maven is for building the Java code. So here we will use SDK man tool. So let me see if I have SDK man already. So I will just say SDK list Java. Yes, so we have the SDK man tool. It's a very good tool, so please note down. SDK man tool is a tool which can be used to install multiple versions of Java on your machine. So you see there are so many versions of Java already there. Let me make it a little bit smaller so that you see the full text, what it shows. So it shows these are the Java versions which are available, and I can install something. So I prefer installing Java 17. Let me go through the Java 17 and choose one distribution. So there are multiple distribution of Java 17. For example, there is a distribution from Oracle, and then I see here there is Microsoft Java 17 already installed in my machine. So I have here Java 17. So I will switch to this particular version of the Java, right? Because currently it is using Java 11. So here I have mentioned the command which can be used to switch to different versions of Java. So I'll quit this list of all the Java tools in my system. So if you see here, I have the command, first command, please note down. This session is going to be very important because I am starting from scratch and will be building a very complicated and very complex production grade microservices which will have all the features. So first command was SDK list Java, which was listing all the Java installed in my machine. Now next command is, I will paste here for convenience, SDK use Java 17, right? So let me put this. Okay, I'm using Visual Studio Code on my web, so I haven't installed this in my system. This is something which is running on Codespaces. So here I have given the permissions to use my clipboard, and then we will be using the Java version 17 here. Okay, so there was some difference. Run the following. So here is not installed. Run the following to install this particular version. Okay, but let me give you. So there is SDK list Java. There may be some difference here. So don't worry if you don't know. So I see another message for Suvarnil. Okay, sorry if I am not able to pronounce your name properly. But if you don't know Spring Boot, no worries. You should know Java, some Java. I'll be explaining. Code is very intuitive also. So if you know Java, if you are still learning, no problem. Because I'll not be using very advanced concepts of Java. You will be able to appreciate, and mostly we will be covering conceptual topics. So we are not going too much into the details of Java. You should be able to understand it, and then you will be able to follow this. So here, as I see that I have various versions. So let me just come back and exactly choose the number which is installed in my machine. So let me go to the distribution. So see here, all the Java distributions are getting listed here, and here you see I have 14.ms. Yes, so here 17.0.14-ms. So let me choose this. So here I gave this command which was choosing patch number 15. But instead I will use 14 because this is already installed in my system. So now you see here, this is switched. So if I give my command here, Java version, so now this is switched, not yet switched. I said use, so it's still showing JDK 11, right? So no worries, we have to make this as default. So when I say use, and then I should also give this command SDK default Java, and then again I will correct this version numbers. There's slight difference. Yes, now it is used as the default version. So let me try using again the Java version command, because this is a terminal. So yeah, now you see here, this is OpenJDK 17 is what I have. So this link I will share about all the documentation so that you can go through it and try it out one by one. But I'm just showing you here so that you understand it better. So here, this is my current Java version. So my first task is completed. I have Java in my system. So now I'll also share some commands which is for building a new Maven project. So here I have already the project set up here. So let me show you how to run a command to get Maven project. So if I come here in the sources, in the main, and within Java, okay, so here this is my project. Project is called MP e-commerce store. So MP means MicroProfile. This is I have used the abbreviation MP to denote MicroProfile. MicroProfile is a Java standard which is very easy and intuitive. It is one of the latest framework, very lightweight, modular as well, for building microservices. Okay, so how to learn Spring Boot and microservices? I will share some books or tutorials which you can follow. So just taking your question that for learning Spring Boot, you can uh, use the Spring Boot guides. So in the Spring website, there are getting started guides. That is good place to get some idea about Spring Boot, and to learn I can also refer some books. Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I will share you a book about Spring Boot. So you can go through this book. This book is about Learn Microservices with Spring Boot. This is a good book, and this will give you a good overview about building microservices through Spring Boot. So this book might be available now. Currently there is some discount available on this. So this is one very nice book and very latest book, also up to date with latest microservices standards, as well as the latest Spring Boot and Spring Cloud it shows. So you can use this to learn Spring Boot. Okay, coming back to the topic, that now we have the project setup also ready. So as you can see here, this is the structure. You have source, main, Java, IO, MicroProfile tutorial, and then store. We have a service which is called product service. So we have this package structure, and we have various classes. So product is modeled as a class here, a plain Pojo class. So here you can see this is some annotation which I am using. So this is data annotation. So basically here I have a simple class here, and in this class I have the ID of the product, name, description, and price. So this is the data structure which we have for our microservice. And here I have used a framework called Lombok. So Lombok framework is a framework which reduces the boilerplate code. So what does I mean by boilerplate? So I don't have to manually type in the getters and setters here. All the getters and setters are already there, generated automatically. I also have the constructor generated automatically. So with this library, which is Lombok library, I get I can save a lot of typing just by using annotations, and it will type all the getters, setters, constructors, and also it will type the toString methods as well. So this is my product class, very simple, nothing. No, I have used very simple code, so that the concepts of microservices are very well presented, and we don't get carried away into the details of Java language, because our goal is to understand microservices and how the cloud development can be done in an effective manner, so that we have a production grade microservice and we take care of everything which is required for deploying a service and making it run also continuously without many failures. So building a reliable, stable, or what we call resilient microservice is important here. So next thing is we have this is my entity class. It's a model, and then we have a resource class. Resource class is a simple class which will have some methods. So it has a list of products, as you can see, very simple. I have an array list, and there are products, and I am adding here products. So I have an Apple iPhone 15, some price. So I have put some values. So this is a constructor, and I have ID number 1, long. I have used long as ID, and then I have the name and description and price. So all the fields defined here. So this is my product resource, and here is the initialization of my product catalog. So these are the product I will be selling in my MicroProfile site. See, I have kept it very simple. I am using in-memory database. So we have just all the variables is stored in memory. There's no database. Later I will show you how to build database, but first we'll understand using REST. So how do we create a GET service? So a REST service, which is GET service, so he's defined again with the help of annotation. This is also called declarative programming. So here when I say GET, so what it means, this will be exposed as a GET service and we can access it through browser. I'll show you how to do it. So here you see I have a get products method. It returns the list of products. So this is simple code. See, very simple code I'm presenting here. What is important here is how to expose these service as a REST service is what we will be covering. So this is the entire code for our product catalog microservice. We have some configurations as well. So here the configuration is, we have a product REST application. So I am defining here the base URL, which is API, right? So this is the entire Java code I have. This class has no additional configuration, so it is just blank class. But what is important here is product REST application extends application. So basically this is a template we should always have in our application. So if you want to build any further microservice, you can copy this template and then add more entity classes or add a different entity class and add a different resource method, put the business logic here, and right, I will also share you what are the best practices so to make your web services built in a layered architecture so that it is very easy to maintain. So now coming back, so this is our entire code. So let me show you what all we have. So we have here, we are running this, we will be running it in Open Liberty web server. So this is a very lightweight web server and it's very convenient for development also. I will be showing you that as well. So here server configuration is there. So here what server configuration states is, I'll be using few features. I want a very lightweight server and it has RESTful web service. The RESTful web service, there is a standard for it, which is version 3.1. This is what I would be using. And JSON binding, because all that product information which I will be getting is in the JSON format. So I have used this library, JSON binding. These are the two libraries which are used. That's all. I am also defining the port. So port is, this is defined in a variable. I will show you that. And my web application will be deployed as this particular file. And my root path will be defined in this particular variable. So this is all defined. These variables, these values are defined in pom.xml. So as I said, I am using Maven. Maven is a build tool. So here you have the basic Maven file, and then we have here the group ID. So this is a tutorial for MicroProfile standard. Then I have the name of artifact ID, which is MicroProfile e-commerce store. Then I have this is the versioning, so 1.0 snapshot version. Then the packaging type will be var. So these are some important properties which I have to specify. And then these are the versions of various, no, this is the Open Liberty version of Maven plugin. What it is for, I will just show you. It is basically plugin to build the code and run the server. So here some details are there. We are using Java 17, so all that is specified. This is the port where we would like to run the application. So 5050 is the port. You can use 8080. I will be running more microservices, so I have kept different kinds of port. Then we have the context root. So these variables we were using in our server.xml. So you see here default HTTP port. So this will be mapped to 5050. So I don't have to change this configuration in multiple places. I could have put here also 5050 directly as a constant, but as a best practice I want to keep everything which is configurable in one place as variables. So I have everything, all the properties is specified here and I'm referring. So here context root is coming from here, and this will give you the base path of your REST service. So now coming back to dependencies, in dependencies we have here the Lombok dependency, which I showed that it helps you in reducing the boilerplate code, and in product we don't have to write getters and setters and constructors. It is automatically generated as we specify some annotations. So yeah, as we will be going through, you will be learning about Lombok as well. So this is a very important, very useful library. Now other dependencies which we have is Java EE dependencies. Now Java EE is called Jakarta EE because it's also an open source project which is hosted in Eclipse Foundation. It is earlier owned by Oracle. Now this is contributed to Eclipse Foundation, and Eclipse Foundation is managing this project with the help of multiple vendors, which includes IBM, Oracle, Microsoft, and various other important companies like Red Hat are participating in this standard. And then we have MicroProfile standard. So this is the dependency library MicroProfile, which will provide you all the microservices related features. Then we have JUnit, Jupyter, just for unit testing, and this is for running the test. So these are all the dependencies which we have. The Java EE or Jakarta EE and MicroProfile, these are the two dependencies which are there for building and running microservices. And for Lombok is just for making the code cleaner. Next thing is I have here the Maven, Liberty Maven plugin, and I have some server configuration. I'm calling this server as MP server, MicroProfile server, and this is all I have. So now let me run this particular application. So I will be, first thing is validating my POM file. So first thing what you have to do is you have to go into the project directory. So I'm doing CD, and my project is called MP e-commerce store. So I'm inside this project directory. Yeah, let me bring it up, this particular terminal window, so that you can see very properly. So this is the name of the project, MP e-commerce store. So I'm inside the project directory. Now next thing is I'm just checking my POM. So I will say MP validate, MVN validate. MVN stands for Maven. Okay, so let me see what is, I have to come to the directory. So I'm going inside the directory. Just a minute. This is showing, okay, so I have to go, I am inside the code directory, so I have to go to chapter 2 and then this particular directory. So I am inside the code directory. Let me use ls command. Okay, so now next I have to go to chapter 2. So I say cd chapter 02. Okay, now I am inside the chapter 2 command, and within this, okay, sorry, so this I don't see my code. So let me just try it out again, getting into the right directory. So we are into the root directory. Within the root directory, let me print the current directory. So this is my current directory, which is workspace MicroProfile tutorial. Now I have to go to the code directory. Okay, So this code which is being shown is my branch, so GitHub branch. So it's not the name of the directory, but I named it in the same fashion, so that's why it was confusing. Now you see I am in the code directory. Then I will go to chapter 02. Now within this I will have my project. So you see here now MP e-commerce store. Great. So now I'm going inside this particular project folder, and then we will start building and running this particular microservice. Now I'm inside this, and let me ls. So you see here I have the pom.xml, and then there is an src folder where we have the source code and various other files. So now to validate our pom, okay, let me bring this also to little bit of to left so that it becomes easier for you. So now what I am doing is I have the MVN is Maven. So you see here Maven is installed already in my system, and we have Maven 3.9.9. So these are the two things. One is JDK, we are using JDK version 17, and Maven. Now I will building this, and before building it's always good to validate your POM first, so whether your POM is correct or not. So here we see there is something okay, let me come here. Build could not read one project, right? So we have the pom.xml. So here if I say validate, so there is some error. Let me fix this. Maybe some parsing problem, or might be by mistake we would have removed something as I was going through it. So here let's verify it. So we have here at the top level we have XML configuration, then we have the project configuration. So here project is there, then we have the model, we have group ID, all these properties. Okay, so looks like this property is there, and yeah, there is some mark, red mark. So here we see something here, something is missing. Let me come back and read the error message thoroughly. So some error is here, which is let's see what is this error about. I'm just expanding it. So something is, let's say, revert this change, or did I made any changes? I think not. Or just let me come to here. Yeah, I see some changes. Let me revert this change, and I say discard changes. So changes are discarded, there's no changes now, and then I don't see now any error, so error is resolved. So then I can go to the terminal. Awesome. So here let me open the terminal. So I'm inside the terminal, yes, and then let me say mvn validate. Okay, so here we have one error. End tag name project must match the start tag name, line 73. Okay, now we have some problem. It is not very easily identifiable. I am just reducing the size of the font temporarily so that I can get this some problem which, so here there is a build tag, and build tag should get completed first, so we have this missing build tag, right? So now easier way, I have Copilot here, so please fix the error. So here I have asked Copilot to fix this error in my POM file. So here it's trying to do that. We have to find out where to put the build statement here. Okay, so this is before file name plugins, so it should be here. After plugins we should have the build, right? So if we do this, then yeah, it has also found out this is the place where it has to be done. And but yes, in the meantime we also figured it out. Sometimes you can work with the Copilot as your colleague who can help you, or a pair programmer. So this is what I also enjoy. I'll show you usage of Copilot again more as we will proceed further. But yes, if you see here, I have the code. Now let me do validate. So see here, this command is very important, mvn validate. Now the build is success because we fixed the error. It's sometimes easy because in XML there could be some typo, some problems which may not compile the project properly. But yes, with mvn validate you can fix this very easily. Now next command which I will use is mvn compile. In this so mvn compile will compile all the Java source code. So here see, there's no syntax error in Java. So this is two things. Now we are ready to run our application, but before that we can package our application. So this is building the var. So you can run mvn package. So this is downloading all the dependencies and then it will package. Okay, there are some errors here which it has been identified. So there are some okay, so there are some files which we can remove which we don't know use as of now. So here coming to our source, we see that there are some test files which is just generated by the ID and we don't need it, so we can just delete it, right? So and then we have this product resource test also. This is the test case. So this is a good test case, so we will keep it. This is a unit test and this is good state. It should not give any problem, but the problem was in the other file which I just removed. So now this should also go. So let me do mvn package. Running these small what I say is project lifecycle commands is a good best practice, because this way you can identify problems easily and fastly fix it, because you know where exactly is the problem. Because if there's a problem and you encounter it in mvn validate, this means the problem is in pom.xml. If some Java file has some problem, that you can detect using mvn compile command. And if some packaging or some other problem is there, like additional classes, then mvn package was helpful. Now we are built the package. Now we are ready to run the application. So now I will run. So I will use a command mvn liberty dev. So this is, I'm running the server in development mode, and the server which I'm using is Open Liberty. This is a very powerful server from IBM, and this is an open source server. So that's why it's called Open Liberty. It is modular and very much fine-tuned for building microservices, and it is one of the latest server, most flexible server available, very convenient for developers. So I'm using this. Now I am running this. So it is installing itself and running it in my system. So as you can see, these are various steps which has been taken by the server, and you see the server, MP server. This is the server we started, and this is a debug port, so we don't have to worry about now because we are not debugging, we are running this. So now you see here, application MP e-commerce store updated. It took very less time, few seconds only, to start up the server, and a REST service should be available. Now we see the ports here. 5050 is the port where our product catalog services to be running. So I'll go to this 5050 port. So I'm using Codespaces. So it is forwarding the port to a URL, and this is the URL, and this is the home page of the Liberty, Open Liberty server. So you see here, this is a server which supports both MicroProfile specification and Jakarta EE compliance. So this is a very good server. Now our product application will be in our context root, so which is e-commerce store. Okay, I see some problem here. There is a minor error, server file not found. Okay, no worries. Let me go to the full path. Okay, yeah, see here, we have to give the full path because this was just a partial path, so no file was there. This is the API path. So our API is available, API and products, and we get the JSON data of all the Java objects which we created here. So you see here, we have, let me increase the font size. So this is our product catalog. So we defined it by hard coding it as an array list, and this, when it is returned, is converted to JSON data. Okay, great. So this is our service which is running. So now we have successfully created a GET service. This is a starting point for our microservice, right? Now next few minutes we will be adding more features to the microservice. So here it is very simple service. I have created an index page also. So if we go to index.html, just a minute, this is big, so let's see if I have the index page. Index page should be there within main. We have the Java. So here, this is again, I'm going through the code structure. So here is my entity class, resource classes, application classes. This I just a few minutes back explained in detail. Then we have the test case. Okay, now let me show you how to execute the test cases as well. This is also very important. Every developer should know. And here this project also has a readme file. So in the readme file you will see all the description about this particular project which we just built. This was the first chapter, initial chapter of our tutorial of using and building a production grade microservice. So here you have the project structure. We have the commands to install Java, switch to the appropriate Java version. Then we have this command for running the GET service, and GET service returns a list of products in JSON format, right? So this is again in markdown format. In the preview you will see here, this is very well formatted, the readme file, readme document. So now you see here all the details about this particular project. Okay, so then we have technology stack. This is the technology stack which we have. We have the model class. This is the class which we used, and this is the commands which we used. So MVN clean package and MVN liberty dev. So I will be sharing after this session the details about the GitHub repository where all these things is shared so that you can refer them. And then there is API products. So this is the endpoint, and host name you can replace with whatever is your host name. In my case it is humble xylophone because this is GitHub Codespaces. I will also be sharing about how to use Codespaces. You can check my other video in my channel. I have shared in detail how to use Codespaces. So now we have covered these two concepts. One is we have the basic product listing, and we have JSON binding serialization. So this completes our first chapter. Now let's move to chapter 2, where we will be. Chapter 2 is our first chapter. Then chapter 3 covers more details of how to extend this particular microservice. So now let's go to next project. This project is completed successfully, but I also promised you to show you how to run unit test cases. So let me just before we start to the next session, just very briefly cover the unit test cases. So unit test is very important, and all the code should be tested with unit test. This ensures that when we'll be modifying our code, we don't break any existing functionality. So here what I have done is I have created a product resource. Product resource is the class which is providing the get products method, right? So here, and then we will just test that we have two products. So this is just a check, not very good unit test, because in any e-commerce product e-commerce site you will be having more products. So this number will change. Better would be I should have used here instead of equal is assert not null. That is good. That means this is not null, right? So if some valid number of products are there, then our test case is passing, right? So let's change this, or this is already checked here at the top, not null, but so let's keep it for, because this is just for a demonstration. So here and equals, so it will check if products.size is equal to 2. If it is 2, then this will pass, otherwise it will fail. So now how to run this test? They're very simple unit test. Again, I'm using this as an example. So to run the test, I will go to another terminal window. I'll say MVN test. Okay, so here I'm seeing some problem. So let me close this first. So to stop the server, I will say Control C. This will stop the server. So I will stop the Liberty server. Now I'll increase the font size for this particular window so that everything is clearly visible to everyone. Now here, if you see, I'll run the command MVN test to run my unit test. So you see here, one test has been executed and successful, and there is no failures or errors and no tests are skipped. So this is how you will run your unit tests. So now let's build the microservice further, and we will be adding more features to our simple microservice, which is about product catalog. So let me come back to the source code. So let me just clean up the files which I have here. So we went through the code for chapter 2. Now we'll be going to code for chapter 3. I will just quickly commit this code also. We had some small typos which we fixed. So just I'm committing this code. I'm generating the commit message through Copilot. So now it has automatically figured out what I changed. So it says refactor pom.xml to close build tag and remove unused app_test class. So these two changes have been summarized. I will just commit and push. So yeah, I should have staged all my changes, but no problem, it can do automatically for me, and these changes are committed into repository. Now I'm going to chapter 3. Chapter 3 has more details about building REST APIs. So here we will be building more CRUD operations on the product catalog. So I'm going to open the README file, right? So here coming to the source directory, in that source directory I have a product class. I have also added logging here. Logging is very important, so let's do logging also on the product service. So here let me show you the product class. Same, we have data, we have no argument constructor, we have all argument constructor. So these things have been added. So we already had all argument constructor earlier, so we added here no argument constructor. And without writing any code, it's just declarative programming with the help of Lombok library. So this is our entity class, very simple, straightforward, clean. It has ID, name, description, price. Then we have resource. Resource will have, so we had earlier same concept, same logic, but now we have added logger. And we have created an interceptor here, which is for logging. So this is a very good concept here. So I have created a logging interceptor. So basically a logging interceptor, what it does is, it is logging the method call just by placing the annotation. So whenever I put this logged annotation, this particular method is intercepted and this is inserted. Log method call will be invoked before the actual method is invoked. So this helps in not cluttering your existing business logic with logging code, and in a very clean manner you can log all your methods. So this particular code is reused with the help of this interceptor. So it does everything, logs the method. So whenever you call any method and if you put the annotation logged, then what will happen? It will first see the class name, method name, and it will build a logger with that class name, and it will log that I am entering this particular method, and it will also log that parameters which are called in the particular method, and then it will also calculate the start time of the method. It will say that okay, I'm executing, and while exiting the method it will write that these many milliseconds the method took to execute, and it will put the execution time, definitely class name, method name, and the result, whatever is the result returned by the method. And if there is any exception encountered, it will say exception in method so and so has happened, and this was the execution time and this was the exception message. So this is a very useful method, and this gets inserted to whatever method I want to log. A very good pattern to do logging, and this keeps the code very clean, and you don't corrupt your business logic with logging code. So just a annotation is sufficient. So this is how I define the annotation logged. So here I just say that, okay, I want interceptor binding. I want the retention time in the runtime. So this annotation should be available in the runtime, and it is having a target of type. That means it can be applied to classes, interfaces, and to methods. So when I apply this logged annotation to class, that means all the methods will be logged within that particular class, or I can apply this individually to methods. So this is how you define an annotation. Very simple, straightforward. And this is the interceptor binding. Interceptor means that anytime you call a method, in between some other method will be coming injected, and that code will be executed. This is also called aspect oriented programming. So this particular code is a good demonstration of aspect oriented programming. Aspect oriented programming is a concept where you inject code without modifying the code, and you can kind of manipulate other code, introduce some methods or do some other operations without modifying the code in a particular method. So now coming to the product resource class. So here you see I have put this logged annotation, and then anytime I put any method, if I will call, this will logged, right? So basically same logic I have here. Correct. But yes, I see here I have also done manual logging here. So you can use, so for example, some important business related logs, which is specific to business logic. So fetching all products, let's say this is only required in get all products. So that kind of logs you should place by yourself. But generic logs, which is this method has started executing, I'm executing this method, and this is the execution time, that kind of generic log which is required for all the methods can be tackled using interceptor binding. So now this particular method has all CRUD operations implemented. So I showed you that at the top I have here get operation, which is returning all the products. Then you see here there is a constructor. Then we are injecting product resource. So here this is my get method. And then just I'm trying to see if this inject is really required here, because this is the constructor, and I don't inject should have been in the product service. So I think there is a typo. This is product service is something which we should inject. Yeah. And then this is your constructor. Then we have here fetching all products, just returning all the products. So product service get all products. Then here we have get product by ID. So basically if product is present, it will return the product, and it is calling get product by ID, the product service. So we have introduced one more class, which is the service class in this particular chapter. So now let me go to the service class. In the service class, as you see here, we have service class is within the service package. This is the service class. So service class has list where we have the products. We have initialized the list with 2 products, and we return get all products right? And so this is the same method which we ran few minutes back, and it will return the products in JSON format. But now we want to have a response which is even also returning the error messages. So that's why we have this particular method, which is response.status not found and build, and otherwise response.ok. So this is some REST API which we are using. This coming from Jakarta EE Restful Web Services. Earlier this used to be called JAX-RS. So this is returning the response type OK, which means 200 as a status code of HTTP method, and not found status. This is also a specific error code for HTTP methods. So these are all the methods here. So here we have the array. We are converting the array to stream and then filtering with ID, and if the ID is equal to the ID which is passed in the parameter, it will return the first element. So this is a particular method which is returning product by ID, and this is called functional programming. And you may have the product or you may not have the product, so that's why we have this optional type product. So return type is optional product. That means it could return a product or it could return null. So next is we have the create product. We just add a product, and then we have update product. Again, if the product is available, we will update the product and return the product. If product is not there, then we will return empty product. Nothing is there. So again, we have used optional type. So very simple logic here. Basically, we are getting the product and then updating all the fields which with whatever is passed, right? So we pass the updated product, and we update each and every field of the product, whether it's ID or name or description, price, to whatever is passed in the arguments here in this particular method. So delete product is another method which is deleting the product. So it's again finding the product and it is then removing the product, right? So we could have called here better approach would be product equal to let me just refine this. So we have something, it's always best practice to reuse whatever we have already, right? So I would say get product by ID. So what is this particular error? Correct. So get product by ID. This returns a optional type of product. So which is fine here. This product is also optional type. Let me come back here to see public get product by ID, and it has long ID, right? So if I go here, this says identify or new to complete reference syntax error expected. Okay, this is just a semicolon at the end, and then this works. So here so now let me run this again. I will run the same set of commands. First is I'll say I have to go inside this particular project. So I come out of the previous project, I go to chapter 3, then I say MVN, or let me just say ls. So then I have two projects here, MP e-commerce store, then I have ls here. So let me validate my POM file. So MVN validate Great, my ambient validate command gives me success. Now I'll say ambient compile. So it's compiling my source code. Again, compilation happened successfully. Next is ambient package. This is an optional command. I can directly do ambient liberty dev, right? Okay, I should stop the previous server. This is important because otherwise we'll have the port conflict. So I will stop the server properly. Now I'll start again. Sorry, this is a start command which I gave. So it's not running in development mode. So it's running here. My server is running. We can verify this by going to ports. Okay, I don't see this. So basically the right command is ambient liberty. Okay, stop. Let me do the stop. Ambient liberty dev. So I'll be running this in dev mode. So we are using features in this particular server, which is context and dependency injection and Restful web services. We are using, basically these two important features. Let me show you the server.xml configuration. In the meantime, the server is starting. So you see here we have Jakarta E10, MicroProfile 6.1, Restful web service, JSON parsing, JSON binding, and then this is the context and dependency injection. So now if I see go to the ports, you see here 5050 port is running. So I have already this open. Now I'll just refresh this and go to our web service, which is in the context root MP e-commerce store, which stands for MicroProfile e-commerce store. Then we have API as the base path and products as the path of our service. So you see here again a JSON is returned, and this is returning the array of products in the JSON format. So our service is running successfully. We built a microservice, and this time we used a layer architecture. So we have an entity class, we have the service class, entity class is the model, and then we have a service class which has the business logic, and then we have a resource class which is the HTTP handling of the particular microservice. So the resource class contains the CRUD operations and logic which is related to technical concepts related to REST protocol. So now we have got this running, and we can see the logs also. So we use the interceptor, and that's why you see here there are logs like exiting method. So whatever method it's exiting, it is also logging here with execution time. So for example, this particular method took 21 milliseconds to execute. So here we have all the logs, which is whether a particular method is being entered. So you have logs about entering the method, right, and exiting the method. So this is very convenient way of logging all the important methods, and also logging some important details like what is the business logic flow which is getting executed. If there are any exception, it will also return, log these exception. So very helpful in troubleshooting. And you can always filter by putting appropriate log level so that it can reduce the unnecessary information, and your log files are also not getting overpopulated. Now coming back to other concepts. So let me show you the readme file. So let's look into the readme file and open it in a well formatted way. So you have this readme file. In this particular file we have the description of the project. So we see the product catalog service. I'll show you other operations as well. So if you're wondering about what happened to the read, update, delete, that we'll test in a little while. One more method which I can test is get product by a particular ID. So here I have used this particular syntax, products by ID, and when I run I will get the product, only one product which has the ID 1. So this is the positive test case where I'm testing whether a particular product which ID 1 is present, and this product was present, and that's why I got the information about the product. If I give some invalid ID, for example product 5, which does not exist, I don't see any output here. Right? So if I give another valid product with ID 2, I get some output. So here if you see the logs, we will see that information, that this is what was returned, right? So in this case this was returned, and in the previous case we got some error, the product could not be returned because it was fetching product with ID 5 and then exiting, and then we saw that there is some error, so it returned optional .empty. So you see here every detail is captured very well in the logs. So this is about the two methods, get all products and get product by ID. But we have implemented all the CRUD operations. We have used memory based data. We have unit test and integration test also. So we'll test these methods with the help of unit tests. That is the best way because we can test the get methods through browser. For post method, delete method, put method, which is for creating, updating or deleting a product, we can't call these with the browser. We have to use Postman, a tool like Postman or curl command, or we can test this by unit tests. So I will show the approach, which is by running unit tests. So let's run the unit test now. So let me stop this server. So Control C is what I use to stop the server. So Liberty server would be stopped now. And to run the test, I will say mvn test. This should run the unit tests. Right, so there are many tests which I have written, 17 tests, and all are successful. If I go to the details of each of these tests, let me go to the tests, show you what all is there in the tests. So I'm inside the source folder, and then in this test folder I have for products these test cases. So product service test, which tests the let me just bring it here. So you see here I have code to test product service. So first I will create the product service, then I will add products to the product service. I'll call get all products, and so this is the previous test case. Then this is the test case for product ID 1. So this is another test case. This is a new test case for get product by ID, and this is testing existing product. See the naming convention, it's one of the best practice. Then we have non-existing product. In this particular case it should return false. So when I say product dot is present, this will return false, because the product ID, some non-existing product 999 do not exist, and it will return null object, and this particular method will return false. So test product, so I'm creating a new product. Then this is a creation test, and this is the updation test. So with the help of product service, we were able to test all the CRUD methods. So this is a unit test because all these methods are called as a unit. Here, for example, product service dot, so update product. This is a method which is called with the help of instance of product service, and we are not using HTTP REST protocol to call these service. So that's why it is unit test. This can be executed very quickly, and you can test the business logic very effectively. It can run very fast as well, and very little setup or resources will be needed to run these tests. So that's the advantage of unit test. They are lightweight, they can be run many times, they can run fast. And we also have something called integration test. So here we have an integration test. I will show here. This is for resource class. So here we have product resource class, and we are setting up both the service as well as a resource class, and then we will get all products. We are verifying the response. So when we call get all products, we should receive the status OK if the product service is running properly. And then we check how many products are returned. We hard-coded 2 products in this particular product service, so that's why we are checking whether 2 products are there. So first we check product should not be null, and then the exact number of products are tested. So the same way other methods are also tested. We can test the response also. So for example, if there are error conditions, in this particular case, if we put a non-existent product ID, we should receive not found as a status code. So this also we can test. Correct. So now in Visual Studio Code, we have the testing plugin. So if I go to view, you will have a testing view, right? So that is something very useful. So if you go to your Visual Studio Code, you should see the testing view. So let me just compile this particular code, mvn, and let's say we say compile. So it's compiled successfully, and this particular product, now if I go to view, so there should be a testing view also which should come, and with the help of that you can run easily unit test, and you will see the execution icon as well. So here for example, so here debug features, run debug features require Java language server to run in standard mode. So yes, I'm running the Java language server in standard mode. So let's see. it's activating. We should see the testing plugin, and this is very important and very useful. So that's why I'm trying this additional step to show you how you can run unit tests in Visual Studio Code. So now, yeah, I see that there should be some testing view. Available, or just I'm waiting for this particular import of the product to complete. So for each of the tests, you will see a run button. So individually you can test each of the test, or which are test method. So you can execute a test method directly with the help of that testing plugin in Visual Studio Code, which comes with the Java kit. So what you have to do is you just have to install the Java plugins, Java extension pack for Visual Studio Code, and you get all the plugins for running unit tests. So okay, so now let me see if this is appearing view. Yeah, you see here now the testing plugin is activated here. So if your Java language server is running, then you will see that here you see there are tests which are available, and within each of the tests you will have test classes and then test methods as well. So I can execute these tests individually. So test get products, this is what is being run now, and based on the output, whether it is successful or failing, it will show the value, right? So this is, I think, some environment related problem. So yeah, it's asking me to select the runtime. So it's asking me to reload Visual Studio Code to execute it properly, because some configuration it has to do. So let me reload this quickly. It should take few seconds. And yes, I'm running this in GitHub Codespaces. So now it is reload. So we started the language server. We were running the integration test, and I was showing how you can execute directly from the plugin, because if you run from command line, it will show a lot of text output, sometimes not very easy to understand. But when you run it in your IDE plugin, you get a very good report, graphical report, which can show you the errors and success of test cases in a very easy to understand way. So I have started it, and just give me a minute, let it reload, and then I am will be back in a minute. Good evening. So yes, I'm back, and yes, our configuration should be added now. Let me come back and try running the unit test again. So I go to my resource tests. So I'm going to my test folder. So I have SRC folder, main folder, and in parallel I have the test folder. in the test folder I have the resource classes. I will switch to the testing view. So hope testing view should come back, or since I reload it, I have to start the Apache Networks language server. Yeah. So once this particular server is running, we should see the test part. So let me open the terminal and compile the project again. So I'm going to my project. So I have directory code where I have everything. Then I'm going to chapter 3. And then here I will have the pom.xml. Okay, I have to go to my project, which is MP e-commerce store. This is the folder where I have, or the project where I have the code. So now I will say mvn compile. This is successfully built, and if I run, yeah, it'll run the project. So language server is running, it's updating the configuration, and now I will have the testing view in few minutes, in few seconds, so that I can show you how to execute unit tests through browser plugin. So 80% completed. Now it's all completed. So you see here, there are various ways to run a particular test. One is through the run command here at the top right. Other one is through the testing plugin. And then with the compilation completed, you will also see run buttons against each of these methods also. So let me run this. So I'm running the test. I clicked on this particular tree structure. Okay, some failure is happening, looks like some configuration problem. Let me fix it and I'll come back to this later. So configuration is launch Java application, and okay. So all that configuration, I'll fix it and I'll show you in few minutes from now. But yes, since it's taking time and let's go in the flow, we'll run these tests for the time being in the command line, and then we'll come back to show you execution in the Visual Studio Code, right? So I'll cancel all these processes because it's taking time. So here we have ambient, liberty, and then when we say dev, this will start our open liberty server. It'll start our microservice. We are using various features, which is JSON-B, context and dependency injection, Restful web services, and our web service is running. Right, so now this particular web service is running, and we have all the methods. So get product by ID, it's returning product with ID 2. We can say get product by ID. So now a different product is returned, Apple iPhone 15. Okay, and we have ID 2, which is a Apple MacBook Air, and then we have all the products. So this was an array list of products. Now we will extend this to make it to a database, because every time we restart the server, whatever products we added or removed will get lost. So now coming back to other features in this particular tutorial, I have the readme file where all the execution commands shared. So we went through interceptor. We saw that okay, all the method execution are logged, as you can see here below. Whether a method is exiting, it will put the execution time. So that was logging interceptor. And same happens when you are entering the method, right? So you see here these logs like entering method. Okay. Now we have the catalog service. Catalog service is the service which we will be implementing using Derby database, and we'll be having CRUD operations. And I will show you now. Next thing is how to implement the Derby database using JPA, Jakarta Persistence API. So right now we use the memory based data storage, and we used logging interceptor. We had a catalog service. So all these details is there, but let me show you interceptor implementation also. What do we have in interceptor? There are some tests for interceptors as well. And here in the Java package within interceptor, we have another readme file, and this one let me open this in preview mode. Yeah. So here you will find all the implementation detail about the interceptor. So basically we have the logged annotation, and yeah, this is the code. So we created, so logged annotation could be used on any bean, and we can just put logged annotation and it will start logging all the methods. We can also use this in individual methods. So instead of putting the annotation on the class level, we can put it in the method level. We can define the log format. So, and there is logging.properties file. So here you can define the format of logs. So now let me show you what is the log format. So here we have handlers. So info, this shows that this is all the global property, right? So we are using simple formatter. This is just for demonstration purpose, so that's why I'm using a simple library which is java.util.logging. But better to use some other library, like for example log4j. So that would be good for production usage, because provide a lot of customization which is really required in production grade applications. So this is all about the logging configuration which we have. I can do a separate session when we go into details of interceptor, and I will write a blog also about this. But for now, this is the logging configuration. So this is our project, and In the project, we have entity class, resource class, service class, a product application, and yeah, I'll just finally in few minutes go through each and every source code, so that it gives you glance about what code we ran. So here we have so here we have the code for product application, REST application. In the REST application, we have some initialization code because we want to load the custom logging, and this should be available as the application starts. So this is all about loading the logging configuration. So here our REST application has some additional code here. So rest of this stuff is same. So we have other stuff which is almost same. So let's move on to the service which we are using, database Derby. So Derby database. So let me stop this particular microservice, which was in-memory microservice. So various terminal windows, and this is our server which is running. I put Control C, the server will stop. Okay, now we will move to the other project, which is the catalog project. So I'm just moving to the parent folder, then I'm going to catalog directory, right? So within the catalog directory, I have again same microservice, but this time I have used a database, right? So now I will show you. The entity class is the same. Few more annotations are added here. Entity annotation makes this class to be mapped to a database table. The table annotation defines that this is the table in the database which it should map to. So for example, my product class will be associated with table name product. Then I have created few queries. I have also given names to the query. So one of the name of the query is product.findAll methods. So when I call this named query, this annotation defines that I will be querying this SQL query, which is select P from product P. See, this is JPA code. It's not SQL, but it is very similar to SQL. Only difference is that it has some variables, right? So this is a Java code which can be validated in compile time, and you see here p.id, and this is special colon and then id. This means this is the argument parameter which is being passed to this particular method. So I have defined two named queries. I have data annotation from Lombok to create automatically the getters and setters. I have all argument constructor. I have no argument constructor. So this is my class. I have also used some bean validation. For example, here the ID is a generated value. Name cannot be null. So I have a validation not null. And again, same is true for price and description. So in my catalog, all the fields should be not null values. So this is my product resource. So this is how I have modified my entity class. This is the model of my microservice. Then I have product repository. So requested scope. Okay, I see a message from Anil. So you are beginner. Any suggested any program between Java or Python. Okay, you are asking about the program. Program means some course or bootcamp program. That's what. So you are looking for Java or Java bootcamp or some course. Then I will suggest. Just a minute. I will suggest you a few things. Just I'm holding on because I want everyone to be with me. So I'm just responding to Anil's query. He's asking about some program which he can enroll to learn Java and Python. So just give me a minute. I am sharing the link of this particular program, which is good. So if someone is at beginner level who is looking to learn Java from scratch, then I am sharing in a minute the course which he can enroll to learn Java. Okay. So I'm just opening. There is a Udemy course. This course is called Master Java in 2 days. This is for beginners. So people who are not familiar with Java, they can go through this particular course. I will share the URL also of this particular course. Course content. Just a minute. As you would be seeing, yeah, this is a course in Udemy. And you can go through this particular course. So the URL for this particular course is this one. So in few hours you will be so here this course is kind of a refresher course which anyone can take to brush up the Java syntax in few minutes. So it's taking me again and again to the course inside the course, but I want to show you the landing page of this particular course. Just a minute. So that you can see the description of the course and you can use this particular URL to get this particular course. So Master Java in 2 days, this is a course I have created and it will give you good idea about Java basic syntax, and this is updated to Java 17 and latest syntax as per newer releases of Java, and I keep updating this course on regular basis. Okay, so now let me post the URL to this particular course for everyone. So I'm posting this URL for everyone. Just hold on for a minute so that I can post this. Also gives me some time, resting time for my yeah. So we will resume in few seconds. So this is the URL of the course. I have pasted, and few people also asked about the MicroProfile or Spring Boot book. So for Spring Boot, they can refer to a book which is called Learn Microservice with Spring Boot. So this is a good book for learning microservices in Spring Boot. So these two are good resources for learning Spring Boot and for learning Java. Great. So now coming back to our coding exercise which we are doing. So now we are into MicroProfile. So now we were talking about the database integration. So here repository class. The repository class is very important class. This is the class where all the database logic is there. So here you see the persistent context. This is pointing to a persistence unit which is called product unit. This will refer to a configuration file which will store the database details. Correct? So these are some important things which you should pay attention to. We have an entity manager. This is basically for managing the database connections and performing various operations like query. So whenever you are executing the query is executed by entity manager. So here you see em.persist. This means save the content of the product object in the table, and we have associated the table product table with the product class. em.merge. This is whatever update is there in the new object, merge it with the existing product in the product table. So this is very simple one-liner code, but they do a lot of operations in the background. For example, em.remove will remove the product from the database, right? So now this is about our product repository. So same here is find product. Find product will run a named query. This is what I showed you in the product class few minutes back, that we had this named query on the product class, and we will call this. So event dot find product. So here I see a typo. In this particular product, we have product dot find products, find all products, and find product by ID, right? So here in the repository, when we have here find product, so find all product, this is fine because this is product dot find product, find all products. So this is the named query for finding all products, and but for finding product, so here find, this is by ID. This also looks fine to me. And this one we will test, and let's see if this has to be changed, because I feel here this needs to be changed to product dot find product by ID, right? So this might be a typo. Let's see. So let's execute this. Because the service class remains the same. So service class is injecting a repository. Repository will handle all the database operation, and then whatever is being called here, it is I haven't defined more methods for this particular product service, so we can fix that. But let's first test find all products, right? right? So our REST application is simple now. So we don't have now the logging here. Again, I have removed all these concepts because now we can focus on the database integration. Great. So now let me run this particular code. So let me open the terminal. In the terminal, I am in the directory where the project is there. So let me print the working directory. So this is the product. Yeah, this is the chapter 3 catalog directory. So I will first check the POM file by calling mvn validate. I have used maven. So pom.xml is valid. Now let me compile the code. So I am compiling the Java code. It's building it and the build is successful. So no problem with the Java code. Let me package this. So mvn package. This will build and generate a war file. War is web archive, which we deploy in our server to run it. So now let's run our Liberty server. Run will run it in the execution mode, which is in production, but we will run in the debug mode so that we see errors also in the console, and we can do hot code replacement. If we modify some source code, then automatically the source code is updated and our microservices will also get updated instantly without having to restart the server. So this is also called loose applications, because instead of using the compressed war file, this will use the Java source code to execute, and this will be good for debugging and very easy to fix and identify errors. So now we have the server running in port 5050. Let's see here, if we call products, what happens. Okay, now our endpoint has changed. So we have the catalog as the project. So I have renamed it to catalog. So I am changing the path accordingly, and now you see here we have the products here. Correct. These products are stored in the database. Now we can prove that as well. And there are various operations associated with the with this particular product. So let's now add services. So here, let's say we want to add other methods. So we had only find all products. So let's add this find product by ID. So that is added. Now we will add create product, and then we will add update product and also delete product. Right. So this is all the methods. So find product is also there. So this is all we have. Now let's go and check this implementation. See, I have added all this. So simple, because repository is what we already have injected here. This is dependency injection. So simple. Instead of creating repository via constructor, it is better to create using dependency injection. This provides more control and is good for microservices and cloud-based applications. So now we have all the methods, and as I was mentioning, find product by ID will have some problem. So let's see. So now let me put 1 is the ID which already exists. Let's see if it works. Yeah, this is working. Great. So no worries here. Let me put 2. This also works. We get the ID 2. And what if I put something which is not existing, like 5? So yeah, no result is returned here in this particular case. So this is all our method. So we verified find all products. Let me verify that as well. That was done before we added other methods. So good to test it again. Yes, we have 2 products. And then we have find product by ID. We checked. We did not test it the create and update because these are put and post methods, and this is the delete method which we cannot test here directly with the browser. We can test it using Postman, or we can test it using curl command. Curl is a tool to test commands, HTTP requests. So I should have provided this commands as well in the readme file. So we'll refer to that. Yeah. So as you can see, so this is the product structure. So almost the same structure, no changes, only the repository class was added. This will take care of database operations. So here is the description. I will give you the complete source code path so that you can refer it. All the code is in the GitHub with good explanations. So server configuration we discussed. Okay, so something which we should also discuss is the persistence unit. So this is the server configuration. So as you can see here, we have the JDBC library which is added in the configuration of the server. So we already saw the other configuration, for example, feature manager, which features to use in the server. The server is very modular. If you specify some features, it will only add these features, otherwise it will run with a minimal configuration. So this keeps the server very lightweight, very useful in microservices context, because in microservices you want fast bootstrapping of your server, and with less features you also reduce the surface area of security attacks. So this makes the application secure, and it also makes it scalable, high performance, and it can quickly start and stop. And this is our var file which will be run, and the context root catalog, the base path, then the port 5050 is what we are running. Let me just double check if this port is 5050 or something else, because this is very important. So I'm going to pom.xml. In pom.xml I have the ports defined, and 5050 is defined here, and this same variable is being used in our server configuration. Okay, so then finally we have the JDBC. This is the JNDI lookup, and this will point to the JDBC library. So this is the configuration, and then we have this create database configuration. That means anytime this server is restarted, we will create the table, we will create the schema. So whatever classes we have, which are the entity classes, they will automatically get generated when the server starts. So here you don't have to create manually the tables. It creates automatically when your server restarts, and based on the code, Java code, which you have in your microservice. So this service is all running well. Now let's test this fully. So one way of testing all other methods by running unit test, which I shared already, by running the command mv and test. Then this is for running the server, and then there are these methods. So let's test this out using curl command. So let's say I want to correct. So let me open a new terminal. Okay. Now here I will run these commands. So I'll say get, and let's try the get command. Get command we already tested in the browser, but just to make you comfortable with curl, we will try the curl command. Right. So let me make it like this. So we'll use the curl command, curl. Okay, let me remove this part also. Yeah, so curl get, and then I will give the path of my server, which is, since this is local host, I'll give localhost 5050. Then the path is catalog. So then API, and then products, then first, or if I don't give any ID, it will give all products. Okay, for get we don't need, by default it takes get. So let me just fix this particular command quickly. Yes, so you see here in JSON format the entire list of products is returned. Now let me run for an individual product. This will give me one product, whatever ID I specify. So for example here I'm specifying 1, so it's giving me 1 as ID. So this looks good. Our database is able to get the values well. Now let's create a product. So this is something which we cannot test with the browser unless we use some tool like Postman or curl command. So let's use curl command. Post, I will say catalog, and API product like this. So here some syntax has to be added. Let me verify this particular syntax. So let me ask Copilot to give me the command. So here my service class is product service. So I will just add product service to the context, and I will ask, please give me, okay, just I'm hiding the area where, okay, just give me a minute. Yeah, so as you can see, I will be using Copilot to give me the curl command. Give me curl command for creating a product using post API. Okay, so let's see. So it is working, and it will give me the curl command. I can paste it directly because otherwise it's sometimes difficult to remember all the syntax flags. So you got the curl command. There are other tools as well. For example, there is an HTTP client for Visual Studio Code, which can also be used for testing HTTP methods. Okay, let me use a separate terminal. VPN as well. This helps me connecting to GitHub Codespaces in a better manner. because earlier, somehow my provider, internet provider, sometimes blocks GitHub Codespaces or GitHub, some of the features of GitHub. So yeah, I'm reconnecting my code space. As you can see, it is disconnected, so that's why I was not able to run the command. Now I'm reconnecting, and in few seconds it should be able to run the command. So yes, yes, so this is connected, and I will paste the command. Okay, so my terminal window should come here. So now this is the opening a new terminal. Let me restart this view. So this is terminal view. It is not allowing me to run this command. Somehow looks like stuck. Let me reload my window. So let's hold on for, it should take 15-20 seconds again. I'm reloading. So I'm using GitHub Codespaces. So if this time it works, then good. Otherwise I'll use the local version. I find it's more convenient to run in cloud GitHub Codespace, because I can very quickly commit the code, and my local, I don't have to install anything on local, and does not it uses a faster server in the background. So with my 4 GB, now I have, I think, 4 GB RAM in my laptop, but macOS is slower. Codespace run on Linux, so it is faster when running microservices. I can easily run 8-9 microservices on Codespaces. Okay, so now this is all is started, and it's responding, hoping that this time we'll be able to test. Yes, so I paste my curl command, and yes, we just reloaded our client, so our server should be running, and now we will run the post command. So I've added the curl command and posted, and you see here, this is the description, right? So see, I run a post command. Now let's see if there is a third product which is added. We can verify the get command in the browser, and I'll do that. And let me show this, and I see here there's the third product which got added. So this is the verification of post command. This is nice. And yeah, let me bring my video back. Yes, okay. So yeah, this is running well. Now let's say update. So we'll say again provide put command for update. Okay, I see here reconnecting to Codespaces again. This is crazy. I'm running 300 Mbps connection, but seems like, oh no, this is bad internet speed which I'm getting right now. Problem from the internet service provider, definitely.